Hello lovely people, welcome to my garden. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm going to get you moving with a little bit of Pilates and then we'll go through a couple more videos. We'll do maybe a little bit of a yoga flow as well. So to start with, just have a seat, take a couple of breaths, maybe have a look around the room and close your eyes, or just keep them softly open if closing them is not for you. And you can take a breath in right to the base of your spine. Feel your belly expand, and as you breathe out, draw your belly in. Let your belly expand with the breath in, and draw your lower abdomen in as you breathe out. And then start to get a little bit of a pelvic tilt going on if you haven't already. So you breathe in and just kind of let your lower back get a bit of an arc in it, so it feels like you're pushing your rib cage forward and your bum back. And then tuck your bum under and press your rib cage back a little bit as you breathe out, kind of scoop that belly in. So you get the anterior tilt and maybe a lift of your head up toward the sky as you breathe in. And exhale as you round your spine a little bit more, get that pelvic tilt going on. One more time like that. Beautiful. Lift up into a high kneel, reach up. And take a side bend, grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand and take it over. So notice if your lower back starts to feel grumbly straight away when you do this. Find a bit more of a lift up of your body so your torso is a little higher. You don't need to go into a massive flexion of the spine, lateral flexion. And then tuck your tailbone and switch on your glutes. Then draw the arm up, lift your rib cage a little. It's okay for it to flare here. To get some nice length down the right side of the body. And then maybe you get a little bit more bend, but maybe not. Just take care of your back. Take a breath in, come back up through center on the breath out, sit back down onto your heels, and then lift up. Take it over to the other side, reach up. So instead of going straight into that, dump into your right side waist. Lift up first, grab hold of that wrist, stretch it out, and almost a little shift of the left side of your body to the left. Then you tuck your tailbone and get that nice squeeze of your glutes going as you reach over toward the right side of your mat and take a couple of breaths into that left lung. Take another breath in. And exhale, come back up through center, draw your belly in and sit all the way back down onto your heels. Let's come to all fours, so hands and knees, quadruped. I'm just going to take your right leg out behind you, so extend it long. Press your heel away so it feels like you're stretching out the whole back line of that leg. And curl your knee toward your chest. So you bend the knee and then bring it in. You can point your toes as you do this. That might feel good. And you get a nice curve in your upper back, yeah? So you've got that big flexion going on. And then extend the leg. Spine comes back to a fairly neutral position. Get a nice lift through your lower belly. Curl, point the toes, bring your nose toward your knee and your knee toward your nose. And then extend everything long, steady. Two more like that. Press your left shin bone down into the ground. Exhale as you curl, so as you compress your belly, you squeeze the air out of your lungs, and inhale to open. Cool, from here, keep that right leg extended, lift your left hand off the floor, or you can have your left fingertips on the ground to support you. You can also bring those right toes down if you need that support. Cool, and then dial back your right shoulder. As you curl the spine a little, you're going to bring your left elbow toward your left thigh and your right knee toward your right arm. So bring it in, curl it in as you exhale, and open as you breathe out. Breathe in. You can do this with your fingertips and toes on the ground as well. You can still work your core like this as you extend out and bring it back in. One more time, extend. And bend everything in like you're trying to curl into a ball. Open. And bring your hand and knee back to the ground. Take a happy cat, just with the shoulder blades here, and then round out through angry cat back to a rest position. In yoga, it would be a child's pose. And just a little bit of a shift of your hips and your torso from side to side. and then lift it back up. Take your left leg long, so set your right knee under your hip, left leg extends, and just hold it here for a sec. Get that nice stretch down the back line of the left leg, so you got to flex those toes up toward the shin. Breathe in, lift your rib cage. Breathe out, bring your knee in, just a good curl, a big flexion at your hip and at your knee, and open out. Flex everything, spine as well, push the ground away, and open back up. That tuck of the chin in toward your chest is going to help get that nice opening here for the back line of your spinal kind of column. One more. Press down through that right shin bone and open. Hold it here, or you can bring toes to ground if you need to. Get that good lift of your belly away from the ground, ribs tucked in, and then either fingertips on the floor, walking that right hand ahead of you, or lift your right thumb toward the sky. Press through your left hand and right shin, and then right elbow toward right leg, left knee toward left arm. Curl, round out your spine, and open. Going 3 more. Inhale as you open up. Exhale as you curl. So working the breath into that compression as you squeeze the air out and filling up against the effort, of the lift of the limbs. One more. Hand and knee back to the ground, slowly. Cool. Coming up to an A-frame, downward facing dog-like shape. Lift up through your hips, pedal out the backs of your legs, and take a little shift of your hips from side to side. Cool. Come on back down to hands and knees. If you ever need your forearms, you can always take your forearms from this point as well. So you're going to take that right leg long, bend at the knee, flex your toes toward the ground so it's like you're trying to stamp your foot on the ceiling, and then just a little tap of your knee to the ground and donkey kick back up. Knee to ground and donkey kick. Another 4. Nice and slow for 3. Inhale to tap your knee, exhale to push. I really can't count. Just one more. From here, hold it up and do a few little pulses for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold and then bring your knee over to tap your calf muscle on the left leg and then push back up to a donkey kick. I have a coffee coming in. It's coming in hot. Thanks, Travi. It's about 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning. You're the best, babe. All right, you got 2. Press that left shin bone down, that left foot's flat. Last 1. Hold it up here. Little pulses up. Get a nice push of your hands into the ground. You're probably starting to fatigue a little bit. I'd like you to find a lift of your front ribs up. 3, 2, 1. Hold, and then bring it on down. Cool. Tap that knee to the ground. Tap that foot out a few times. Flex the toes, extend the toes, and then lift that leg back up. Same leg. Extend from the knee, point your toes. Try to keep your thigh bone in line with the ground, so don't let it swing down as you bend your knee and flex your toes, yeah? And then point the toes as you extend from the knee. Cool. So it's just a straightening of your leg and a bend of your leg, and your glutes are working really, really hard to keep that thigh bone up. That's why they're starting to burn along with that hamstring curl. You've got 2. 1 more. Straighten your leg. Little pulses up. For 3, 2, 1. And then bring it on down. Give your glutes a little tap. And before we do the other side, just come up into a high kneel. Shake out your wrists. can come down to hands and knees for a sec. You're going to take your left hand, that one, and place it on the ground just as is. But turn your right hand over so that the back of your hand is on the ground. Just getting out of the big wrist extension for a sec, and a really gentle movement back and forth. And then a little side to side or some little circles with your chest over your wrists. And then switch sides. So take the right hand, place it down, flip over your left. So fingertips toward the knee, but the back of your hand is on the ground, and you try and spread out the skin on the back of the hand onto the floor and gently move. Cool, take it back over. So we're coming on to the other side now. It's donkey kicks, really nice and slow, and take this at your own pace. I'll count reps, but if you need to go slower, you can always go slower. Bearing in mind that this is for a crew of my office workers. Yeah, this is, good midday comma in the day. So from here, you tap the knee to the ground, back below, beside the right knee, and then stamp your foot on the sky. Find that lift through the ribs, and notice if you're trying to watch that knee as it taps the ground, just lift your head a little bit so that your eyes are now in between your thumbs. You have 2 more like this. Try to get that nice little pulse at the top, and then hold it here and pulse. For 3, 2, hold, tap your knee to the back of your right lower leg and then lift. So knee to calf muscle and lift it back into a donkey kick. So it's crossing over and then coming back up in line with your hip. And you press your fingertips into the ground a little bit, get those ribs up. Like there's a little flame, a little candle underneath you, and you're trying to get your belly button away from it too. Got 2? You got 1. Hold it here, little pulses again for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that knee down to the ground for a sec. Shift your hips from side to side. You can always keep it lifted if you want to. And then lift it back up, point your toes and extend from the knee. Keep your thigh bone where it is, flex the toes and bend the knee. Point, extend, flex, bend. Inhale as you bend the knee. Exhale as you extend the knee. Really draw your belly up so that lever load increases on your core. You want to be able to give yourself a good chance of keeping core control here. That's that rib tuck in, the lift of your belly button. Last 2. Last 1. Get that curl in and then extend the leg and hold it out. Little pulses up for 4, 3, 2, 1, and bend your knee. Pull back to a rest. If you need to give that hip a tap out with your fist, you can do that. Sometimes it just helps to get the blood flow back into the muscle by doing that. And take a breath in. Breathe on out. Lift up to all fours. A-frame. Tuck your toes. Pedal out the backs of your legs for a sec. They deserve it. And then you can come on over onto your back. So you're going to lie down, finding the anterior and posterior tilt of your pelvis again. And all that means is you're doing little pelvic rocks, little tilts. I'm going to take out my bun because that's really annoying. On the ground, bring your hands to your hips. So press your bum bones down into the ground. And as you do that, allow your lower back to arch up away from the floor. Expand through your belly and might feel a little stretch through your abdominals if they're a little tight. And as you breathe out, rock your pelvis back so that your lower back flattens down, it imprints into the ground. Find the arch, breathe in, and imprint as you breathe out. 2 more. imprint here. So I'd like you to try to keep that imprint. You're going to need to draw your lower belly down, and you might also find a little lift of your pelvic floor. Bring your hands to interlace behind your head and just hover your right knee to tabletop. Breathe in. Breathe out as you toe tap your toes to the ground. You're going to inhale and lift everything up. Exhale as you move it away. Inhale, lift. You might curl up here with your chest. Exhale as you tap. 2 more. Stay here. Take a breath in and then exhale as you lift. Inhale, open. We're just doing this as a bit of an experiment so that you can feel the difference between the breath and the movement combinations. 2 more. Exhale as you lift up. Inhale as you lower. We're going to hold that lift now. So you're going to hold it up here. Press the back of your head into your hands. Elbows nice and wide if you can. Twist toward your right leg. So it's an oblique twist. You're using the sides of your waist. And then open, toes to the ground, back of your head down as you breathe in. Exhale, lift up and twist. Inhale, toe tap and lower. 2 more. When you do it well, you don't need heaps of them. All right, so place the sole of your right foot down on the ground. Relax through your shoulders, relax your back, and then find that imprint once again. So lower back really pressing down into the floor. Gonna bring your left toes up to the tabletop position. So left leg hovers to tabletop. And point your toes. If your fingers were crossed with your right finger underneath your left, like right forefinger under your left last time, switch the cross or vice versa. And then you're going to take a breath out as you toe tap. Inhale as you lift everything in toward your center. Exhale as you toe tap and lower. Inhale as you lift. You do not have to do the curl up. If your arms or your shoulders or your neck are quite tense or you're dealing with any issues, then drop the curl up and just do the leg. Might also be that you've got abdominal stuff going on. In that case, also, just leg is fine. You can always just do the curl up too. Everyone's body's going to be different. From here, hold up, breathe out. Inhale everything away and exhale as you lift. Inhale. It's just interesting to clock which feels more natural for you, which one intuitively makes more sense. Traditionally in Pilates, we will exhale as we draw in and inhale as limbs move away. But it's not a hard and fast rule. Depends on the movement, depends on the load, and it depends on where you want to feel it. We're going to hold up in 1, draw down through the back of your right hip, twist toward your left leg, and then inhale, toe tap, head down. Exhale as you lift and twist. Inhale, toe tap and down. 3 more. Ground that right foot, ground that right hip. Last one. And relax. And from here, set the soles of both feet on the ground and just rise up into a bridge. And slowly lower down. Articulate your spine like your backbones are beads or pearls, just kind of sliding back to the ground. Ribbon, spine up. And drop them back to the ground like pearls. One more time, lift. And lower. This time you're going to lift up into your bridge, push down through your upper arm bones, and robot your arms. So now your fingertips are facing the sky, but your elbows are still pressing down into the floor. Pop your right heel off the ground, so you're pressing down into the ball of your foot and your toes, but your heel is lifted. It's a calf raise. And lower it back down. Squeeze your glutes as you lower the heel. Pop your left heel. Squeeze your glutes to lower. Right side. Tuck your tailbone a little bit. And left side. Take a breath in and then slowly articulate your spine back down to the ground as you breathe out. Bring your right knee to your chest. Bring your left knee to your chest. Take a little rock or some leg circles. You could connect your big toes, hold your knees, and then circle the knees out wide and back together. And take it in the other direction. I'm just going to do one more set of bridges, but it's going to be butterfly. So, soles of feet together, knees out nice and wide. You want to make sure that the outside edges of your feet are pressing into the ground. Hands on the ground just beside you. And push the soles of your feet into each other so that your knees aren't just relaxed outwards, they're kind of lifted to a degree. Still with a space in between though. Take a breath in, and then exhale as you press your feet down, tuck your tailbone, squeeze your glutes heaps and lift your hips to your degree. Lower back down, backs of your hips tap. It's not an articulation, it's more of a hinge from the hip joint. Lift up and lower back down, and this is to engage those outer hip muscles. Exhale up, inhale down. You got another 5 of these. Keep pressing the soles of your feet into each other. If you need to, you can always place the soles of your feet onto the ground and just put your toes into turnout. It'll give you a similar kind of vibe. Holding up here, halfway down, and lift. You got 3, 2, 1. Lift as high as feels comfortable and a bit edgy in your body. And then knees a little in, knees a little out, like butterfly wings. For 4, 3, this is where the killer is. 2, 1. Lower your hips to the ground. Reach your arms up overhead and let your knees relax out nice and wide. Ribs can flare. And as you exhale, reach your arms through toward the space between your knees. Inhale, ribs flare out. Arms overhead to a degree that's comfortable for you. And exhale, draw your ribs in. Try to imprint your spine. You might feel the knees lift as your feet press into each other and the hands reach forward. Overhead, ribs flare, relax. Exhale, draw your abdominals in as you reach forward and through. 2 more. Good movement for the spine, good movement for the pelvis here. Reach. 1 more time up overhead. And then reach through, and maybe you lift your head to look towards your thumbs and use your belly muscles to draw your rib cage closer to your hips. That's going to lift your spine a little more off the ground. Inhale, back to the floor, arms overhead, relax. Exhale, pull everything in tight. Maybe there's a lift there for you. Chest float. Down. And lift up, reach it through, little pulses here. So if you are completely flat to the ground, you're going to pulse your hands down and up. Draw that belly in, imprint the spine. If you're lifted in a curl up, you're actually going to pulse forward, so it's more of a chest lift rather than hands getting involved. The hands move forward because the chest is lifting up and down. 2, 1, and release. Knees to chest. Hold onto your right knee with both hands. Extend your left leg long. Hover it just off the floor and flex your toes toward the sky. And then we're just going to switch. Right leg goes long, left knee toward your chest. switch, and switch. This time, right knee comes in, left leg goes long. Hold it there, draw your belly in, and find a little bit more imprint of spine toward the ground. It's okay if it's not completely pressing down, but you want to feel those abdominals engage. Lift your left leg toward the sky. Lower your left leg to your degree. It could just be to here, or it might be all the way sort of back down toward the ground, but hug muscle to bone around that left leg. Lift it up, stretch it out, and then really strong as you lower. You have 2 more. 1 more. Lift your left leg to the ceiling. Take it out, away, in towards center, and then back up. So you're drawing a square with your heel. Maybe you take it into more of a rectangle. So it moves out from that toward the sky position, away from you, in toward your midline, and then back up to center. 1 more time. Hold it here, send it straight down the midline away from you, out to the side a little, up, and then in. Away, out, draw your belly in, up, and in. 1 more time. Bring that left knee in, extend the right leg out long, and just lift, stretch out the back of your leg, and lower it back down toward the ground to your degree. Could be not too far, it might be all the way, but hug muscle to bone. And this side for me clicks, my hip joint clicks. I think there are some of you out there who might experience the same thing. You have 2. There it goes. And 1 more. Bring it up toward the sky. And then take it out, down away from you like a leg extension, in toward your midline, and then back up toward the sky. 2 more in this direction. I know we might have done a couple more on the other side while we were setting up, but at least it was the left side. Sometimes we start on the right all the time and we tend to do more reps or favor the right more. So left gets some love. Okay, switch it up so it goes away down through your midline, then out to the side, back up, and in. 2 more. Squeeze those quads. Hip flexors are working really hard here. Can you draw your belly in a little bit?
Mom, Dad, today is the 10th.
Hey Albie, I'm recording a video. That's all right, babe. Just for work. All right. Bring that knee in. And then just take a bit of a rock from side to side. Kids. Wanted to know if the milk's still in date. The answer is no. All right, so straighten both legs up toward the sky and just bend and extend a couple of times. And then you're just gonna take a rock and roll or press yourself over to one side, but you're gonna eventually end up in a seat. We're gonna take a little stretch over to one side, hand to the ground. You can have crossed legs or you can be straddling, like sitting back onto your heels with your knees bent. And come over to the other side. Take a few pulses. So it doesn't need to be a static stretch. It can be a little bit more dynamic. Come back through center. Reach both hands up. See if you can lengthen the sides of your waist. And then just bring hands to heart center. And it's just a really nice balanced way to finish your practice. We're moving on to yoga. If you'd like to come with me, I will record some breath work and some gentle movement to ease into a rest. Thank you for joining me.